If working hard was the key, third world countries probably wouldn't exist. So why is it that one person can work an hour a day, live the life of their dreams, while another person may have 4 jobs and barely getting by? By the end of this video, you'll have shifted from effort to effortless and be able to make success your natural state of being with just the click of a finger. So I want you to do this exercise and really do it, actually do it, because this is the key to shifting. Take out your piece of paper and write down all those desires, whether that's a dream home, a booming business, a perfect partnership, a perfect body, whatever it may be. Write that down on one side of the paper. On the other side, you got to be honest with yourself because no one else is going to do it. You got to write down what you have been most aware of the past day, week, month, whatever it may be. That awareness is what is manifesting. So if those two lists are two completely separate things, that's where you're messing up your reality. You, nobody else. There's nobody else outside of you that's creating those undesired circumstances. And here's the key, is that not looking at those desires as if they're somewhere in 10 years, 20 years, somewhere in the far future. Looking at those desires, being aware of those desires as if they are already here right now. You don't have to do this 100% of the time. You only have to do this 51% of the day. Remember, we're asleep for 8 hours of that day. So 16 hours, if you are existing in that state of it already done for 51% of the time, you're improving 1% every single day. You're getting closer and closer every single day because you're not doing these techniques to get anything. You're doing all of this work, this inner work, to become the type of person that already has it like that. And so let's say that you've written down on that list, I want this Lamborghini, I want this $10 million house, and you're, living with your parents, right? Jumping from where you are in your current 3D to that and believing that might take a second. So that's why we go general. Why is everything in my life so perfect? Comment down below. Isn't it so wonderful? Everything in my life is now perfect. We go general. Isn't it so wonderful that my business is booming right now? Isn't it so wonderful that opportunities are finding me every day in exciting ways? Isn't it so wonderful that the best is yet to come? And you can still waver for the rest of the time. It really doesn't matter. You still get what you want. But 51% of the time, you are improving 1% every day. Surely that means at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you have improved dramatically. You're literally unrecognizable. And gradually that 51% becomes 60%, becomes 70%. Success becomes your natural state of being because you have predominantly existed in that which you do want. It's like, for example, I had a client and I could clearly see that they were a bit distressed with everything, doing this work. And the main reason people get distressed is because they're doing this work and then looking out. When's the text message going to come? When's the money going to come? When's the partner going to come? You're looking out and then finding evidence for what you already believe, which is, I don't get what I want. And so these little affirmations that you're doing, these little meditations, they really almost don't stand a chance because you're constantly seeking the evidence from the external 3D, which is already old news anyway. You manifested this current reality a month ago, however long ago, right? So this client was talking to me and I could clearly see they were a bit distressed. I did a guided visualization there and then, and sometimes we'll do a visualization, sometimes we won't. It really depends on what I feel like you need on that call. And this person went from like this to literally shoulders back, smile on their face. Obviously their eyes were closed, so I couldn't see their eyes. By the end of it, they were crying. And they were so immersed in that moment that nothing else in their 3D mattered. Why is that? 2 things. 1, our brain can only focus on one thing at a time. So if you're feeling like shit, you're choosing to feel like shit, sorry to say. And 2, our brain doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. So when we're doing that visualization, I'm right there with you on that beach, on that yacht, in that dream home, I'm right there with you. But most importantly, you are there. The more that you saturate your mind with this new story, like your life depends on it day in and day out, what do you think is going to happen? You're no longer going to care about the 3D because it's actually more exciting in there anyway. You're no longer going to care about when this is going to come, when that phone call is going to come, when that email is going to come, whatever it is, because it's already happened in your mind. You've rehearsed it so many times that there is no difference. There's almost like no separation anymore. It's here right now. I am that person right now. I have that money right now. And you no longer give a shit about what's happening out there because it's boring anyway. Why would you want to sit out there when it's, whatever's happening, it's kicking off, it's devolving, this is not working, whatever. And you sit there and talk about it day in and day out. It's like this person commented on one of my posts and was like, the post was basically saying, ignore your reality, ignore your circumstance and go within. Essentially, that was what the post was saying, a Neville Goddard quote. What did she do? She commented on the post, her undesired circumstances. And I was like, have you actually read the post? And someone was like, that's a really rude response to someone that's, sharing their problems with you. Exactly. Sharing their problems over and over and over again, existing in the 3D over and over and over again, breathing life into what it is that you do not want over and over and over again. Yes, exactly. Did you read the post? Because if you read the post and you absorbed the post and you embodied the post over and over and over again, read it again if you don't get it, read it again if you don't get it, read it again if you don't get it, you wouldn't then comment on that post with your undesired circumstances, because they have to literally die in your mind in order for the new story to come to fruition. It's just like with Marissa Peer, one of the greatest hypnotherapists. She has cured cancer twice through her mind, through hypnotherapy. Joe Dispenza has thousands of people that have come forward and said through his meditations, through his teachings, they have cured their cancer. They've gone into remission. Why is that? What happened to the cancer? Where did it go? They literally killed off the body that had the cancer and transformed into that new body that is vibrant, that is healthy, that is radiant, that is successful, whatever it may be. That cancer literally no longer exists because that body no longer exists. That person no longer exists. They only know, they only give life, they only breathe life into what it is that they want, which is a healthy, vibrant, young, youthful body. And that is literally what has to happen. The circumstances have to die. Stop giving them life. Stop breathing life into it day in and day out. Speaking of stop breathing life into what it is that you do not want, this is so rewarding to me to hear from this amazing client. And honestly, when I first got on a call with her, she stuck with me for weeks after. When we get on a call, guys, we have 15 minutes. I'm back to back all day. If I'm speaking to you, I've probably spoken to 20 people before you. I've probably got 20 people after you. It's back to back. And so we have to get through a lot in that time. And then I have to use very direct questions in order to get the most out of that call. And so this lady, just a bit of a backstory, grew up in, a pretty unhinged environment and went on to perpetuate that in her own life. And as people do. And so she came to me on the call. She was like, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I've spoken to this coach. I've done this therapy. I've been to AA. I've done all of this stuff. And I was like, okay, I just make affirmations, right? I don't know. I just make affirmations. This worked for me. It may not work for you. It may not. This is all dependent on you, but it worked for me. It works for me, right? That's all I know. It works for hundreds of my clients. That's all I know. But sometimes, for example, with her, I was like, this is a lot. I'm not a therapist, but I just want the best for you. She said, as a result, I had a cruel inner critic my entire life. I've tried neuroplasticity, therapy of all types, medication, inner child workshops, you name it. There hasn't been a modality that I haven't tried in my price point, and frankly, the list is so long that I would cause you to lose interest before I get to the good part of this testimonial. So I booked a session hoping to learn how to manifest money quickly. I had no idea she was going to change the trajectory of my life in one session. I read the book she suggested, Game Changer. I can't actually remember which book that was. Maybe it's How to Love Yourself as If Your Life Depends on It. She told me I was a tough case. Probably shouldn't have said that. This is what I mean about I'm not a therapist. I will just say what's on my mind, and I probably should stop doing that. And told me to do loop affirmations 20,000 times rather than 10,000. again, you know, when you've been through an insane amount of trauma, it's going to take a second just to, you know, switch a few things up, like just start changing, just like she said, the trajectory of your life, of your mindset. It's just going to take a second, that's all. Something incredible has happened. My biggest wish has come true. I've prayed for a kind mind for most of my adult life. I've tried everything to get the negative obsession to stop. I've completely shifted my energetic vibration. I did not think I could stop the fault-finding inner critic in my head. It's been there my entire life, and it's loud all day when I wake up. I'm blown away by the results of implementing Bobbie's schedule of self-love. I'm finding joy and peace in my daily life. I love and respect myself. I knew I loved myself, but couldn't stop the inner dialogue. She said, which is the most important part, I think, of this whole testimony. She tried this somatic trauma therapy, and it wasn't enough. I had to stop the inner critic in the moment when it critiqued me and reframe the negative thoughts or judgment about anything and anyone. I had to observe and reframe in the moment. Guys, this is the key. In the moment, you are flipping the thought. Go back to the first exercise we did on this call. What are you most aware of? Your awareness is manifesting right now. She said, my life is dramatically different. I'm treated with respect. A producer told me she loved me at the end of a shoot, and she meant it. She was blown away by my work ethic and generosity. I've manifested new furniture, texts from people who didn't respond to me anymore for whatever reason, a new washer and dryer gifted to me. I'm happy my thoughts are filled with positivity and not sadness. I didn't think this kind of shift was possible. Bobbie's program is easy and tailored to you. It's well worth the fee. It's a massive bargain. I promise I'm not being paid to say this. It sounds like she is, so we'll just keep it there. But anyway, thank you so much for that beautiful testimony. But the most important part of this testimony was she was basically saying, I had to catch my thoughts there and then. Okay, so you can do all of this work, but the most important part of this testimony was her catching her thoughts there and then. I can't do that for you. I can't give you anything that's going to do that for you. And when I finished the final call with her, I said, do you now see how when you first got on a call with me and you were like, I've tried everything, how you actually hadn't tried anything and you actually hadn't been doing the work that you said you were doing? She was like, 100%. Because I would do a meditation, just like I spoke about before, and then the whole day I'm like, you know, back into the old state. So 100%, the catching of your thoughts is imperative. It's everything. Reframing it then and then. They're not going to text me, oh my God, why are they blowing up my phone every second? The money isn't coming in. Oh my God, why is money so obsessed with me? Why is my business so booming? I have so many clients. Every day, new clients are finding me and I don't even have to lift a finger. Isn't it so wonderful that all of this money is pouring into my life right now? You don't have £0. All this money is pouring into my life right now. You have to continue to reframe it, continue to change it there and then on the spot. And the more that you do that, you actually don't even need any of these affirmations, these meditations, all this work that I do and I give you. It's not even necessary. Literally flipping your thoughts will change your life. This is the shift. You have to say, I'm way too powerful to be a slave to my senses. You're only conscious of what's going on right now, but there's so many other alternative realities that are happening right here, right now, that you can just tune into, tap into. And that's exactly what she did in the space of 4 weeks. And she's been going through ups and downs for years. That's not just a coincidence. That is possible for every single person to truly shift. And you may say, okay, well, Bobbie, how do I act as if? How do I act as if I have this Lamborghini when I'm driving a Toyota? Okay. Who are you in front of your mum or your dad or your auntie or your uncle? Who are you when you go to school or go to work? Who are you in front of your friends? Who are you in front of your partner? This is just 4 different versions of you where you are acting as if a daughter, a son, a mother, a father, where you're acting as a different person throughout the day, all day. And so you are constantly acting as if. You're acting as if you're a teacher, you're acting as if you're an employee, you're acting as if you're a boss, a CEO. And so the same way that you act as if is the same way you act as if. As it is. And by understanding that your inner conversations, your inner reality precedes your external reality. So what's happening there? showing up every day as if your life depends on it. So I trust this video helped you manifest. You are worthy, you are loved, I love you, and thank you.